Bears Nation gets a breath of fresh air this Friday from our offensive coordinator for once owning their mistakes, which led to some answers of why the Bears struggled against the Tennessee Titans this past week, and expect some big improvements moving forward against the Houston Texans, which I hope there is a big change and I hope it's legit. But there are also some changes in the offense this upcoming Sunday. The injury bug has gotten to the wide receiver room, but positive news coming from there, along with status of Odunze and Keenan Allen, along with the injury report from the Houston Texans, which could be big for the Chicago Bears. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago Bears. My name is Nick Rohde, and as always, thank you for tuning in. Now, before I begin today's show, happy Friday to start things off. Like this video if you're happy that offensive coordinator Shane Waldron is taking accountability for the Bears' poor performance, something that we never saw out of Matt Nagy or Luke Getsy. And like the video if you're happy to hear Odunze and Keenan Allen are questionable and probable to play this upcoming Sunday. Along with commenting PVO, positive vibes only for this upcoming Sunday night. If you want the Bears to have some good luck, energy, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We hit 18,000. If you haven't already, please hit it. It's free. Let's get to 19,000 before next week. So to start things off, the biggest breath of fresh air, in my personal opinion, is accountability. And that is what Shane Waldron did this past Thursday for the Chicago Bears during his press conference, owning that he was not the best when it came to game planning against the Tennessee Titans. Not even 150 yards of offense, poor play on third down, and the offensive line was a mess. Along with Cole Kmet, our number one tight end, being not utilized well and getting low snap count, Waldron owns that, and he knows that he has to learn balance and also get this team up to speed. He said on Thursday, quote, "Kmet is one of the best tight ends in the league," followed by the fact that as far as personal preferences, that's more on us starting with me and getting the reps balanced out, unquote. Lack of rhythm limited the offense this past Sunday against Tennessee Titans, why we only saw not even 150 total yards. And I'm expecting a big change this upcoming Sunday against the Houston Texans. I personally think that this team was one or two big plays away from looking a lot better on paper, as Caleb Williams had 5 overthrows, 3 of them being on deep balls for more than 20 yards. So I'll blame jitters on that time around, because think about it. He hits 2 of those. Bears have almost 200 yards of offense. Williams has almost 150 yards of passing and maybe even a passing touchdown. Things would look different and still not sexy on paper, but a lot better than what we had. And on top of it, too, going back to Waldron's comment about balance, I think there was way too many passes this past week against the Tennessee Titans compared to runs. Yeah, the offensive line wasn't doing their job, but you need to keep running it. You need to keep the defense on their edge. And if you keep dropping back and passing, they're going to keep sending the house, making blitz, and it makes things a lot harder. So overall, I love that our offensive coordinator is taking accountability for the offensive mistakes this past week. It's a breath of fresh air, and I think you guys can agree on that too. And I honestly expect big changes this upcoming Sunday. And I want to hear what you guys want to see change this upcoming weekend against the Houston Texans. So throw your comments in the comment section below after, obviously, positive vibes only. So going to the Chicago Bears injury report, in some ways, not bad. In some ways, not what you want to see. It is better, though. Let me say that. So Keenan Allen did not practice all week, but is questionable for this upcoming Sunday's game. Karan Amagaji is going to be on the active roster this upcoming week after a full practice this past Friday and not being put as questionable or out. So that's great news. Bad news, though, Ryan Bates and Kareem Blasingame are both ruled out. That key offensive line depth and our fullback. So packages are going to look a little bit different this upcoming Sunday. Maybe even little Mercedes Lewis, because he did practice this week, probably at the fullback position. Then you have Odunze, who was limited on Friday. Was kind of shocked to see that. And he is questionable this upcoming Sunday against the Houston Texans. Zach Pickens was a full participant. He will play this upcoming Sunday. That's big for the defensive line. And DeMarcus Walker, who did not practice earlier this week, was full and is questionable for this upcoming Sunday's game. I don't think he's going to miss it. But quickly want to run through a couple of these guys. Obviously, Keenan Allen's pretty tough veteran. They want to rest him because he is important to this offensive game plan. I hope he does play because he does expand that offense significantly. Along with Rome. I mean, Rome, I'll be honest, if it became between Allen and Rome playing, I'd rather have Allen play. I want Rome to get healed up. His body heals a lot faster than Allen. We need our young number 9 overall pick to be good to go for the rest of the games, as he's going to be a key impact, not only for this season, but for the future of the Chicago Bears. So rather him attack this injury, rest up now, and then play the rest of the season. Happy to see Zach Pickens back, though. That's a big one for the defensive line, even though they did great this past week. Good to have your second-year man out of South Carolina back, as we want to see him go to the next level like Javon Dexter Sr. And DeMarcus Walker, who was one of the best defensive tackles in football this past week. We need him back to the rotate from the edge to the inside. Hopefully he is good to go. Happy he was a full participant today. I see him playing this upcoming Sunday. So all good news across the floor for the Chicago Bears injury report. So a lot better. Positive vibes only. And Freshie Friday. Before we get into the rest of today's show is sponsored by Freshie Organic Tequila Seltzer, and they are sponsoring our watch party this upcoming Sunday at Rizzo's Barn Inn against the Houston Texans. We are having a charity watch party. Yes, we are raising money for charity. Doors open at 5 p.m. Tickets are $20, which gets you an Authentico margarita and a $10 donation to College Bound Opportunities, a local Chicago charity for first-generation college students. Make sure to go to the link in the description now to get your ticket. If you can't make it, still want to make an impact, buy a ticket. Your $20 will go directly to the charity. We greatly appreciate all your support and can't wait to see you guys this upcoming Sunday. Quickly going into the Houston Texans injury report, the biggest one that I called out is Dalton Schultz, who is their tight end, big guy, signed a big contract with the Houston Texans, is impactful to the offense. He is questionable for this upcoming Sunday's game against the Chicago Bears, which is a big target for CJ Stroud. So definitely want to keep that in mind moving forward. If you're a fantasy owner, want to put that in your back pocket too. But we need the Bears to absolutely have all the breaks they can get, especially against this high-powered Houston Texans offense. The defense looks pretty healthy overall, so kind of got to hold our breaths a little bit there. But Dalton Schultz, hope he has a quick injury status, but if he wants to rest this upcoming Sunday, I wouldn't be too mad about it. On top of that too, Nico Collins was limited throughout this week. Their number one wide receiver who had over 100 receiving yards last week against Indianapolis Colts was ill all week, so he did not practice too much. Was limited on Friday. Something to keep an eye on. On top of it too, their offensive line is banged up right now, missing their starting center and right guard at the moment. They are both questionable as well. So the Houston Texans could have their own issues that they're dealing with. If the Bears offense can get going, this is going to be a very entertaining game this upcoming Sunday night, but something to keep in mind. And before we get into final comments of today, I would like to introduce today's segment, Fantasy on the Fly with Dan Richmond. Dan's going to break down the best for your fantasy team this upcoming week. So quickly, a word with Dan Richmond.
Hello and welcome to Fantasy on the Fly. The Bears offense in week 1 was not very good. Plain and simply, it was terrible. Do I think the offense will rebound this week 2 against the Houston Texans on Sunday Night Football? I do. Who's going to be the big-time player for the Bears from a fantasy perspective? I believe the guy who's going to take this offense on his back and make the Texans pay is DJ Moore. DJ Moore is an elite receiver. So why do I say this? Why do I think DJ Moore is going to have such a big game? Look at the stats against the Texans D in week 1. Anthony Richardson of the Colts threw for 2 long touchdowns, 54 yards and 60 yards. DJ Moore is a tremendous deep threat, and I like him a lot this week against the Texans. Last week, I said you got to play Mike Evans of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against that weak Washington defense. I say let's exploit that defense again and play the rookie for the New York Giants, Malik Neighbors. Neighbors in week 1, 5 catches, 66 yards. He's clearly the number 1 guy on a really bad team. I think Malik Neighbors is going to come up big against the Washington Commanders. And this is Fantasy on the Fly.
Check those lineups, change what you got to do. Listen to Dan the Man because he's got a plan, and absolutely looking forward to everyone's fantasy scores this upcoming week. But bear down, guys. I am super excited about this Texans game coming up. I think that the Bears could shock the world, put the Bears truly on the map with the national media, not only from a defensive perspective, but from an offensive perspective as well. Special teams need to continue to do what they did against the Houston Texans in order to keep these Bears moving, and I am just overall super pumped for what's next for this team. It's primetime football. You guys should be excited about it. And I really hope that all of you guys can make it to our watch party. Again, link is in the description for tickets for the Eventbrite. Go get your ticket today. Bring a friend, bring your girlfriend, bring your wife, bring anybody, family. I don't care. Would love to meet you guys. Doors open at 5 o'clock and can't wait to see you guys there. But happy Friday to everybody. And with that, thank you as always for this episode of Just Another Year Chicago Bears. My name is Nick Rohde. And as always, bear down, baby.